Welcome to the August 25th, 2008 edition of massapequaNEWS.com. I'm Christine Sohmer, and this is Leslie Dowell. Welcome.
Hi, Christine. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Aside from writing news and views, which is a synopsis and commentary of what we have going on with the Board of Ed, you ran for the Board of Education. Tell me what lesson you took away from that run.
What I took away from that run was obviously don't run for 2 seats when there's 8 candidates. That's one thing. But from a personal perspective, I think what I learned was that even though you can advocate for many, many years in the community, that doesn't necessarily mean that people are aware of who you are. And I think that my own personal failure was in getting my name out there and maybe advertising, quote, a little bit more of myself.
Yes.
A lot of the other candidates were very public and very, out there. I didn't go to solicit at many of the concerts.
Right.
Because I felt that that was something the parents didn't need to have as 8 flyers handed to them when they were going to see their children perform.
Right.
But I think I've learned that you really have to sell yourself.
So you need to put yourself out there.
Yes.
Okay. And early on, too.
Yes.
Let's talk about health and wellness when it comes to our children and the school district, because recently another news agency ran a piece about how, drugs are running rampant and drugs are a real issue. Let's talk a little bit about the health and wellness of our kids.
I think that Massapequa took a hit for that article. It's something that's not unique to Massapequa. I believe it's a Long Island problem, specifically Nassau County problem. But we can't put our heads in the sand.
Right.
We have to be aware that drug use is on the rise, especially with what we're hearing is heroin. We recently had a death of a plain ed student that is a Massapequa child.
Right.
And the parents out here are advocating now on her behalf. We have to be aware that we have to teach our children it's not just a school responsibility, but a parent's responsibility, a community's responsibility.
Yes.
It has to be interactive with everyone.
Right.
And I feel that it's not just that, it's alcohol, it's other drugs, marijuana again is on the rise. We just have to be aware and help our kids however we can, both parents and school district. We have to be very proactive.
And while, drug and alcohol use is not specific to Massapequa as a town, it's widespread throughout Long Island and the world. Even one drug-related incident is too many. So parents have to get involved. We have to keep our children active, which brings us to my next topic. I wanted to touch on the social well-being of our kids. So I think for us that means getting them involved in school activities.
Very much so. We're a very sports-minded town, which is great. My own children are athletes, but it's not just the athlete. We have the children that are really associated with the music or the arts. But there's also many clubs in Massapequa, and I don't think we do a good enough job at advertising all the clubs that are available. We have many social awareness clubs, such as Door 4, and I think that's something that our kids have to become more socially conscious.
Right.
Not just athletics, music, any kind of sports, but social awareness. And I think our children are very sheltered in Massapequa, and I think we have to be a little more worldly with sharing them with some of the things that are going on outside of the local town.
Right. So while it is incredibly socially responsible to reach outside the borders of Massapequa by getting involved in hot topics like Darfur, whether you are an athlete or an academic student or an artist, there are clubs that you should be getting involved in. Let's keep our kids busy, because idle minds are something that we don't want.
I think we all agree on that socialization is very important with our kids. And when they have friends, then they tend to do more things socially, and maybe they'll stay out of trouble. Kids aren't bad, they just make bad decisions.
And if it's not enough that we leave them to their own devices to get involved, it leads us right into my next topic. Let's talk about parental involvement, because we have to take a proactive role in keeping our kids busy. And I think one of the things we can do is get involved through a parent's
We have PTA, right?
Yes.
We have PTA, there's Yes Community Counseling, there's MTA. There are many different avenues that a parent can get involved. One of the problems that I see with doing, advocacy, especially through PTA over the past 12 years, is lack of involvement, and not because there's not a willingness on behalf of the Massapequa parents, but you have many two-income parents or very many single-income parents or single household parents. And that creates a time concern.
Right.
The parents don't feel they can spend enough time doing PTA. What they don't realize is whether you have an hour or 2 hours or 20 hours or 200 hours, we'll take whatever time you have and utilize it to the best of our ability and their ability to help the kids.
So stay connected, get connected. Parents have to be highly communicative with one another and join, the greater good of our kids' social well-being.
Correct.
Finally, let's leave off with academics, because while Massapequa has always enjoyed a very high rating as far as report cards go, it's something that the Board of Ed could definitely be focusing on moving forward. Our academics.
Well, we do have a very rigorous academic profile, and we offer a lot of opportunities, especially at the secondary level. We have 2 administrators, one elementary, one secondary, that do a very good job at trying to round out the curriculum. But there's always improvement, always room for improvement. There are other school districts that are offering, for example, Chinese, which seems to be the language that really we need to know now. We don't offer that, but some school districts do. I think it's something that we have to investigate. Again, being more socially responsible and looking at what's going on in the world around us, we have to stay in tune. Possibly moving some of the secondary choices down to the elementary level, which we're starting to do.
Yes.
The keyboarding we had moved down to a lower level. We've also moved, I think it's a trial, a pilot, but some of the language down to a younger level. So we're trying to get there, and I believe we will. We have a very stable financial school district that really takes pride in offering many, many options to our kids.
So we're starting with the younger grades, acclimating our children to other languages from a younger age.
I'd like to see them go younger than they are. Some schools districts that I hear that are very comparable to us happen to be doing it like in 2nd and 3rd grade. And it's just to give the children a flavor of the different languages. But that's just one portion.
To be able to communicate better.
Exactly. And to get them to decide, not just choose a checklist of what language they want, but to really have a feeling if it's something they really want to pursue.
Right.
Very often they just choose a language because their parents chose it, or their brother chose it, or their sister chose it, not because it's a passion. But if they had a little bit of a flavor of each language and an option.
Speak many languages, be an effective communicator. From the time you're young, it's almost like it's second nature. You have been attending the Board of Ed meetings forever.
Yes.
But we have two. So you stay very well in tune, very connected, and the piece you write on News and Views can help everyone that doesn't attend every meeting informed as to what's going on with the Board of Ed.
Right. There are, what they call Board of Ed little tidbits in the local papers, which are the highlights of the meetings, and you can always go on the Massapequa School District website and download the minutes.
Right.
But it doesn't always give you the true flavor of what was going on at the Board of Ed meetings. So what I'm hoping with News and Views is to not only give you, obviously, the facts of what went on, but to give you a little flavor of, from my perspective, what I feel went on at the Board of Education.
Okay. Everyone should look forward to reading your column, News and Views. Leslie, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And let's finish off with the school district has made several changes. If you haven't found their new phone numbers yet, you can find them on the massapequaNEWS.com education page. The main high school number has been changed now to 308-5900. School begins on September 3rd. The fall parent athletics meeting for the high school is on Tuesday, I believe. And the Board of Ed public session has 2 upcoming meetings, Thursday, both at 8 p.m.
And I strongly recommend, if you can find the time, to attend a Board of Education meeting in the future.
Thank you very much, Leslie, and Massapequa, stay tuned.
Thank you.